at what point do you need to prove you're funny? You know? You prove it again and again and again and again and again, and people still aren't convinced. What are you supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like, I've already done it, guys. I have videos with millions and millions of views, everywhere now. And it's crazy. You know what I mean? And it's just like, what do I need to do? Nothing. Like, I already did it, So if anyone's going to call me not funny, I just sit here like, well, I kind of like, did you miss it or something? You know what I mean? Because, like, people just don't understand what I've done. You don't really get, like, I've written more comedy than probably most people in the world, right? I've written so many books. I've written over 80 books, most of them short books, but I've written so much, and I've done so much, like, just completely hilarious things. And so it's like, if someone just passes me off, not funny. It's like, dude, come on. Like, you just got to get real here. You just, like, really got to get real. You know what I mean? And, it's like, for me, it's like, I don't really like to get real when it comes to being funny, but it's just crazy because it's just like, you're only funny to some people, you're only funny to yourself, you're only funny at certain moments, and then people say fell off is not funny. I decided he wasn't funny. Or you got the guy over there saying, no, he was never funny. He was never funny, And that's just kind of the way it goes, like the whole drama of being funny. Like, do you guys think that some people aren't even interested in what's funny? They're just interested in the drama of what's funny. You know what I mean? Like, I could just be funny for so long and then all of the sudden just not funny anymore. You know what I mean? And it's just like, well, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? So I guess, when it really comes down to it, guys, you say this person's funny, that person's funny, that person's not funny. You could just like sit here and just do that all day. And it's like, well, I guess like some people can create some pretty cool stuff at times, but maybe they're just not very consistent. Like with me, I'm just like completely insane. I've been doing this so long. So, I've built up a lot of steam here, to try to be funny on a regular basis. I've done so much stuff though, guys. You need to look at the history. And it's just really like, okay, but you were never funny to begin with. Like, you came up with funny stuff, but it actually wasn't funny because you didn't perform it good enough. Just think about what you're saying. Just think about what you're thinking right there. Because, like, technically, something is funny, right? Like, if you really look at it, like, if someone writes something and it's, like, actually funny, regardless of who you are, it's like, that was actually good. You know what I mean? Like, you ever watch something and it just doesn't have that many likes and you're just like, this was actually good. Like, everyone should appreciate this thing. But then you just realize it's just appealing to you because that kind of funny is only appealing to you. And so for me to be even funnier, I have to appeal to everyone. So, really like the stuff I think is funny isn't funny to everyone. You get what I'm saying? Like, it just turns into this big mess of what's funny and what's not funny. You know what I mean? And it just drives you insane. You know what I'm saying? But like for me over here, like, I don't really feel like I have anything to prove, you know what I mean? Like people don't really get it, like I'm already like on the other side. Like, I made it, guys. I made it. Not necessarily. I actually have to maintain here. You guys know how hard it is to maintain? Do you know how hard it is to maintain? Do you actually get how hard it is to maintain? How hard it is to maintain this? You got to really like it, for one thing. So if you say you're not funny, it's like, well, I just got to be here and show up to work every day. I got to clock in and try. You know what I'm saying? But I was just wondering why you were sitting around all day. I'm your father and you're going to do something. Look at me. I did something so valuable. It's kind of funny because sometimes you don't realize that being funny is actually a big deal. You guys, there's layers in being funny. There's layers in entertainment. Like, you don't want to just make a video to get likes. You want to make a video to get shares, right? You want to get a video so good that, like, people don't even care if you're not commenting. Like, people don't even care if you respond to them or not, right? Because it's like, man, I just love that guy. I don't even care if he doesn't respond. Do you ever think, like, some people say, oh, yeah, you need to respond to comments and stuff. It's like, well, if you're really, really good, like, maybe you could just bypass that. You get a little license to just not respond and ignore everyone. And I'm over here doing videos every day. And, I was thinking, I should probably start to responding to people. But anyways, yeah, I'm your father. And why are you sitting around? You should be doing something. Why am I doing this? Guys, like, I don't even know if I'm really chasing success. You know what I mean? Like, is this guy actually chasing success being funny? Or is he just so crazy he actually likes it so much? Like, I actually like it so much that I just can't not do it, you know what I mean? So it's not really not a matter of like me like trying to be rich or anything. It's like this guy is just crazy. He just likes what he's doing so much, you know? That's crazy to other people though. Do you ever think that like when you look at what someone does and they're just so into what they're doing, they love what they're doing. I can't blame them for it. Like even if I'm not into what they're into, if they're really into it, I'm like, dude, you're into that stuff. Like you could do that. Like you do that thing you're doing because you're into this thing you're doing. And that's good. Because if you weren't into the thing, I don't know, maybe you would be like homeless or something, right? And just, you know, doing things that maybe aren't really benefiting society. And once you think about, you know, the whole idea of, you know, everybody, you know, it's kind of funny because you think, you know, like you don't want to judge anybody, right? Like I don't want to judge anybody, right? So if you work at this place or that place, or, you know, you don't have $1 million in the bank or whatever, or like you're not the funniest person in the world or whatever, or like your neck little shirt neck thing isn't folded right and it can't get it right and you know have creases in your shirt, you know, like, you know, I try not to judge people, you know, I'm like equal opportunity employer for my friendship, you know what I mean? Like I don't care, you know. And it's just crazy because it's just like, you know, it gets to a certain point where it's like, you know, this person could have did something for themselves but they didn't. And, you know, sometimes it's just the things they're interested in. Like, some people are just interested in particular things. And so they just, like, put on all this time into this particular thing, this point of interest. And then you end up, like, just sitting there and you can't change it because you're you, right? Isn't that the big problem, guys? Isn't that the problem? It's not that you are lazy or people are lazy. Did I just call you lazy? I don't know if you're lazy. Everyone wants to be lazy sometimes. But it's not that a person's lazy so much as they're not interested, right? So if you're interested, then, you know, so how do you make yourself get interested? That's the whole thing, isn't it? You have to make yourself get interested because some people that do things, they do it for a long period of time and then succeed, they're interested. They're very interested. Like me, I'm completely obsessed with just like coming up with funny stuff every day. And I'm completely obsessed with it. You know what I mean? Like I can't not do it. Like I'm just crazy. And it's like the whole idea of music, right? The whole idea of music is like it can almost waste your time. Because I sit there, you know, sometimes and I have a song in my head and it's like just going back and forth and it's comforting, but that's wasting time. That isn't that kind of funny how like comfort kind of gets you nowhere, but you got to be interested in uncomfortable things. Because it seems like sometimes like people are interested in uncomfortable things. Like guys, if you be honest with yourself, right? If anybody out there, right, you were to make this video right here that I'm making right now, or say something else in the video, get on camera essentially, how would you feel about it? You know what I mean? Like so a lot of people be like, you might not face the reality of it. You might not think of it. You might not face it head on because it's very uncomfortable to get on camera. It's hard to get comfortable on camera. So I'm doing something that maybe a lot of people don't want to do, right? So, you know, and honestly, if you look at everything I'm doing, I'm pretty much doing things that people don't want to do. And maybe it's not that I'm good so much as I'm just doing things that other comedians don't want to do, which is how I'm getting ahead. But no one wants to do it. No one wants to do it to win. They want to win the right way, you know? Like, just do a joke that really doesn't, like, affect your health or anything, like you're eating a bunch of cheeseburgers. Cheeseburgers are success. Hello, everybody. It's time to get honest here, okay? Let's take a look at all the things I've been doing, okay? Let's take a look at the reality of the situation here. Let's face it head on. I don't mind doing it. Does it mean it's going to change? Is anything going to change? And am I going to decide to change? No, I can't change. Just let me tell you the situation. Okay. There are certain things in comedy that some people don't do or aren't willing to do because of the comfort level, because of how people are going to think of them, because of the type of comedy. There's a lot of comedy that people don't want to do because it's hard to tolerate embarrassing yourself, but doing it in a way that's really gonna be beneficial. You know, it's really gonna be powerful for you. You're actually going to do something and it's gonna be worth it, right? You're not just gonna like make a silly little video. You're gonna make that silly video in a way that it's it's totally desecrating yourself. You're totally ruining this so-called alpha image that society portrays into, making money and getting women and all of this stuff that, is considered the high tier living. And people believe in that stuff. And I get the system. Because you can deny the system or accept the system, guys. And the system is the system, But does it need to be all corny? Do we really need to live life in that way that we're just the head of the wolf pack and what we say goes? And, it gets a little bit more complicated than that. We're getting kind of political here in a very simplistic cartoon way. But do you get what I'm saying? I mean, it's not even that I'm good. And I can admit this, guys. It's not even that for me I'm funny so much as I'm just doing things that other comedians don't want to do. And some people would even consider some of the things I do is not comedy at all. That's just desecrating yourself. That's just ruining yourself. Like that's not even like, that's just like that's just a crude way to get attention, But if you really think of the situation, guys, do you really think this is what I wanted to do? Well, yes. I mean, some people have a strange yearning for being embarrassed, okay? This might surprise some people. No, not everyone realizes this, okay? Because I know you're on your alpha male high horse and you're thinking the way you do, and you're thinking in a very sophisticated way. I understand the way people think, okay? But I'm not saying I understand everyone. For me to say I understand you, I know a lot of people want to be misunderstood. Like, you don't get it. You don't get me. I'm unique, right? So, I'm not trying to assume I know people, but here's the whole thing. Is maybe I didn't want to do it, but then I realized I had to do it, so I got comfortable doing it, and I'm more comfortable doing it than other people, so I can do better with it. Because I'm not so worried about how I'm going to feel the next day, or, how this is going to affect my love life, or, what my kids are going to think about it, because I don't have kids. But, I do have a family, which is a whole nother conversation. Anyways, what I'm doing, I feel like, you can see it however you want to see it. And I kind of see videos on the internet as, this illusion, right? It's like a perceptual thing. A lot of the time, you can see it how you want to see it. And everyone sees it the way they want to see it. Because some comedy doesn't even have words, right? Sometimes something, it can be so simple. Like, you have streams where people are just sitting there and just chilling, and they're not really putting a lot of effort. Like, it seems like the line of originality is so thin, guys. We're walking on that wire, and it's like, well, can anybody really come up with something good? Because there's so many people posting stuff, and it's like, you want to be the big cheese, you want to be the number one, you want to be the best. It's like this whole idea of being something and having that reinforcement and having that territorial kind of state of mind of, hey, this is my territory and you're going to follow me because there's a reason behind it. But no, just hear it. I mean, it's kind of funny to me because it's very perceptual. You got to think about the type of person that would enjoy that type of thing, right? Think about it this way. What if I put myself as embarrassed online so many times, but it helped me, right? This is kind of weird, right? So it's almost like everybody can see this thing that I feel embarrassed for, right? Like being overweight, or, I'm too goofy, or I'm weird, right? These kind of things that can be wrong with a person that they can't get accepted into a particular section. Or, I don't know, it seems like it's an illusion, I guess. I'm just saying, I feel like I have insecurities or things wrong with me, but maybe it's existing more in my head, right? And this is kind of like high school jibber jabber. This is kind of really this isn't even a college course, guys. I get it. The stuff I'm talking about right here is just so petty. It's just so petty. You know what I mean? It's like, why am I even talking about it to you? Because you understand it, right? But I'm doing the stuff that other people don't want to do, but I'm able to do it in a way that I'm doing it, and do it so I make something that's not even, it's not even real. You know what I mean? Think about this. This is kind of funny. Some things in comedy are about creating an artificial character, right? Something that's not real. But just think about this. It makes people feel better. So it's on such a low. This is kind of interesting. The character is on such a low, right? have things wrong with them, acting bizarre, strange, outlandish, these things that probably wouldn't be accepted in a normal setting. And you just go lower and lower and lower to help this normal kind of feeling of sadness or whatever get lifted up. So really, I'm just lifting you up with a lower sense of myself that isn't even real, right? But I know you guys are going to say it's real, but is it real, guys, or do you just believe it's real, right? Like if someone were to look at me online, like a woman that, and she said, I wouldn't date that guy because of he's embarrassing himself. This is just a disgrace. Like, how could I? Some people understand it, some people don't. But just think about that. You're looking at me for something I'm doing. I'm making the sacrifice. You know what I mean? I'm making the sacrifice. I'm putting the towel in. I'm putting myself in there. I'm giving you what you want, which isn't even real, right? But I have to understand that it's not real. I have to understand how to respect myself. I have to understand. So it's this big mental challenge of finding a new low. How low can you go and still be accepted and still have people love you and still have that balance? Because some people just go way too low and then you're just not even a person anymore. You do things and it's like, dude, what are you doing? So to a certain extent, you go so low for views, but you got to think about that. It's kind of interesting, guys, because sometimes you can go pretty low and then it becomes a controversy of if you're a good person or not, and everyone's going to talk about it. They're going to talk about, that's kind of the whole thing, guys. It's kind of funny, isn't it? Because you're interested in the low this guy's taking, like me taking a low. Like I'm playing the low card, right? Sometimes I try to play the high card, but then I play the low card. And then it's like all people are almost just trying to decide this based on me and then decide it on themselves. And then the people around them. So it's like this whole cultural phenomenon, right? Because it's really a versus battle. It's kind of this battle of entertainment where you have kind of these different sides. You know what I mean? And it's kind of funny because we kind of bounce back and forth in between the lows and the highs. It's because like if you watch a certain type of entertainment, it can make you feel up here, but they're up here, so they try to like make you feel up there with them, and then sometimes you want to go back down and feel down here and go down. So you're really just going up and down, really, and it's really like what you depend on. Because it's like, think about it. You're up here. You watch someone who's like rich, alpha type stuff, like or whatever type. Superior opinion or like like opinionated like dominant opinion, mental intelligence, like the stuff up here, the highs. A lot of different highs up here, okay? A lot of people prefer different stuff, and sometimes you just stay in one area, but how long until you go back, right? How long until you just understand that's really all you're doing? And like most of the people that succeed seem like pretty decent people, unless they mess up or something, you know what I mean? So you definitely don't want to mess up, but it's a dynamic. You know what I mean? Which is kind of hard because I do a lot of low stuff. Like, and I'm not saying everybody is as low as me. Like, you could be way up here and I could be down here, and maybe you're looking down, and that's helping the story, your story, and the people that are holding you up here, the entertainment that's up here. So it's like reinforced. So it's like an illusion. Like the entertainment up here, you're keeping you up here, whatever form that's empowering you, and then I'm down here, right? And this kind of tells you that you're up here because this guy's down here. So really the dynamic of entertainment is almost just a complete lie if you think about it, because you're just looking at these highs and lows of people in different situations, and ultimately it's almost like it's just like this illusion of, but see, even this right here of understanding it is just another high point of understanding entertainment that not a lot of people might want to go to, right? So it's just another thing, and you're just going to be looking down and looking up. So you're really just sightseeing, and that's all it is. Hey guys, would you consider me a person who could give acting tips? Like, if you had someone who wanted me to teach them, right? So like, I respect this guy as an actor, and I would be comfortable with him teaching me. Well, maybe you would respect me enough, or maybe you think I'm that person in the video, the low comedy that I do, that I kind of portray myself in this way that's kind of like make me look like I'm, desecrating myself. I look like a child, or, I look like a fool or whatever. I look really ignorant on purpose. And I enjoy doing it because you know what? Maybe I like being less smart than I am. So I like acting like I'm not smart because I like being a kid again or something. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. There's a lot of things you can say there, guys. It's all the perceptual mind Ferris wheel. You know, you're going around in circles again and again, you know, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? You jump roping those old thoughts and the old noggin. But just think about this. If I were to give you an acting tip right now, what would I tell you? Well, you need to start on your appeal. Think of it as a model. Think of yourself as a model, you know? Like, if you really want to act, guys, and you're going to be into it if you're into it. If you're not into it, you're not into it. But if you really want to go into it, you have to go into it. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're a person who thinks that you're just going to make a video and just retire, maybe you could. I don't know what type of person you are. But eventually, what you find out is there's such a high level of mental stress and strain and pressure and comfortability doing things that that is the whole kind of challenge of it. You know what I mean? And the most important thing I would say is before you do a video, try to really feel yourself there and feel the success. Feel people connecting, like feel the energy, but really shine. Take your personality and say, it is original. I am original. You know what I mean? This is what you want to do. This is what you want. You want to say, I am original. You know, I can shine. You know, and you don't have to think about it in a corny way, guys. I mean, I know it sounds kind of corny, you know, to say like, I'm original, I can shine. I mean, I'm just saying for, you know, you might think differently. People think differently. You might not think that things are corny. I don't really like thinking things are corny because I feel like I try to respect everybody. You know, if I say something's corny, I might insult someone from like, hey, bro, they're having an emotional experience. You don't want to say they're corny. They're living their life. But you know what I'm saying? I try to be cool. I try to be cool. But it's almost the problem with the type of entertainment I do because it's like, okay, let's not be controversial. Let's just like take the low road and just, you know, be this kind of ignorant person saying catchphrases, but really just try to make it so everybody will like it. You know what I mean? So, you know, I never really tried to be this way, but, you know, I never wanted to be this way. I never wanted to just be universally appealing. Guys, that's what it is, though. That's what it is. When you go on camera, the hard part about being universally appealing is you fall into a specific thought process, right? You think specific things. You're comfortable being a particular way. So if you're going to try to be universally appealing to people that maybe you don't really agree with, maybe people that maybe you wouldn't be friends with in real life, or maybe you don't like them, but once you start to understand universal appeal, you start to understand how people think. And then you can almost like get past. I mean, it kind of really depends on your situation, guys. I started to use, you know, my acting to mature myself and get past these thoughts that I had in my head and kind of the distorted reality I lived in because I wanted to put myself out there and see what people thought of it. And so, you know, it's kind of funny whenever you put yourself out there again and again and again and again in so many different ways. And then once you try so many things, you kind of look at the mentality of every single person and then you start to respect kind of, well, you may or may not. I'm just saying in my personal experience, I started to respect different people in the way they thought, no matter who they were. You know what I mean? Because I ultimately realized that everybody's in their own situation and they have the information they have the knowledge they have, and it really, life is all about like being right or wrong a lot of the time, being something or not being something. And us as human beings, we're always trying to be the best, or, you know, have some kind of acclamation behind us. And if everyone around you wants to live in that dream, they're going to live in that dream, you know, of you being or not being something, but you're really deciding what you are or aren't, and you're living in your own little reality of this kind of thing. But sooner or later, you got to accept the reality of, you know, getting ahead or getting left behind. You know what I mean? And sometimes it really just matters how passionate you are, how into something you are. You know, and that's what it is with a lot of time with acting, dude. Like a lot of the time, it's like it's not even that you're not a good actor so much as you're just not into it. I mean, sometimes you never know how good a person can get because they just never try. But the most important thing that I found was like, bro, just get on there and try to shine, man. Like really like premeditate it and feel it. And it's funny because when I first started to understand this acting technique of being universally appealing and stuff like that, I didn't really have good results necessarily. But eventually it seemed like I started to understand what acting was. And acting is really about making a character that's like so profound, in your face, original, and you can really feel it. Like it's like the words are gonna matter, the situations are gonna matter, the different things that happen are gonna matter, no what matter what video you make. The dialogue's gonna matter. But really, one of the most important things of being on camera is just the way you make people feel, you know? So it's the way you make people feel. You got to be universally appealing. So, I mean, and then see, that's the whole thing is you don't have to be universally appealing. You can decide who you're going to appeal to because a lot of time people just appeal to these certain people and those people are just like them and they succeed because there's a bunch of people like them and then they hold them up on their shoulders and that's their king, you know what I mean? That happens all the time on the internet. You have all these little sections of different personalities and different people that are going to appeal to certain types of people. And just because you don't like them, it doesn't mean they're not good, you know? And see, that's the whole thing about being yourself, though. It's kind of funny because think about this. If being yourself was being someone else and being appealing to people, then, you would probably succeed more because you're appealing to more people. Being yourself is being more people or something. It's kind of weird, right? Because like some people seem, I'm not saying they're singular, have a specific personality that's only going to appeal to this, but not everyone wants to do that stuff. Not everyone wants to be universal appealing. A lot of people might not really think about it like this, but to be that's the whole sacrifice of it. It's like, to a certain extent, the only way to get the best results is to be universally appealing. And if you're not that, then you have to have your people, the people that you're artistically acting or artistically making videos, you have to have your people, be into the thing you're doing. And it's kind of funny because if you kind of look at what's really happening psychologically with acting, it's interesting because you have a character, right? And then a person online, you have the things they do and say and the attributes, the morality, the controversy of their behaviors. And then you have that empowerment of, look at how many followers this person has and look at what they're doing. Look at the behavior and it justifies the behavior. And then, so it's kind of an interesting thing to look at because some people really want a specific behavior to be empowered, to tell them this is okay to be like this. And so it's kind of funny because it is okay to be a specific way, but for me and this type of stuff I do, I'm making a sacrifice. You know what I mean? I'm the one here doing this stuff, making myself look this way and appealing in this way. And it's like, well, maybe it does come from my natural self, or it just comes from a way that I thought I was or thought I should be. And really, when you get into it, guys, I mean, it's pretty nuts because if you really understood what was happening, you would just understand there's so many different things you can do. And it's really just, for me, that's what I try to do. So it's kind of weird because you could call me a sellout. You could say, well, you're just trying to be universally appealing. You're not appealing to certain types of people. But sometimes think about this. If you're artistically acting or doing something in an artistic fashion and you're, maybe you do want to make money, be successful, but you're being more of an artistic and experimental, and you kind of are just doing things in the way that you want to do them. And I did that for a long time. I did that for a long time until I realized you can't just be here just making comedy in a way that's only going to entertain you. Because, I used to do jokes and it was like, yeah, some people would like them, but it wasn't really appealing to many people. And I just realized, like, bro, the best way to do this is just have, like, this thing. It doesn't even have to have words. That's the ultimate realization, guys. Comedy doesn't even have to have words to be universally appealing. It's just have to have that glow. You got to have that glow, which is really hard. It takes a lot of work to do. You got to be really into it. Hey, what's up, guys? I decided to be real for once. People always tell me that I should be real and I'll get more followers. Well, okay, you want me to be real? Let me talk about what's going on. Some people probably don't consider me a real actor. If you take it upon yourself to be an actor, you don't have to be in a TV show or a movie. Everyone knows that. You know that, right? You don't have to be in a TV show or a movie to be an actor anymore, okay? In fact, it seems like a lot of people are just more into just making videos and stuff like that, because you have to go work with other people, invest a bunch of money. There's a lot more on the line. It seems better to just post your own stuff and just find your audience and stuff like that. Even though you get locked in. You get locked in. You're locked in the box, guys. There's so many people locked in the box because they don't want to take that leap of faith. And you get locked in the type of stuff you're doing. Like me, it's like, hey, well, Seth, are you going to have a movie career? You're going to have a stand-up comedy career? So it's like, if I really were to think of that, it's like, well, dude, I have never done a movie. People don't know me from movies. They just see me in videos. I guess it could happen and be pretty miraculous if I was to make a transition. And honestly, like most of the time, I don't even know what's going on. I don't really think you need all of these classic kind of things that you used to need, and you could just do things the way you want, obviously. Like me having an agent, guys. Do I really need an agent? Do I really need a publicist? Do I really need someone telling me this and that and the other thing? Well, maybe. Maybe. I guess the main thing is just like, dude, just, sometimes like, hey, like you might say something, you might not think about it, like think about it completely, like, and then once you think about like, hey, risky, what I'm saying is risky, it's risky, it's risky, it's risky, and then it goes down, 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 down. You know what I mean? Like the amount of risk, it's like you have to risk. I don't know. It seems like it's all a risk, really. And like, you know what I mean? So you're risking, but I don't know. I don't know most of the time. It's just like, it's almost like you might as well not even do anything because it's too risky, right? That's kind of the funny thing. It's like, you say this, these people don't like it. You say this, people don't like it. You say this, people like it. You do this, people like it. Do this, people don't like it. So it's like, okay, well, since I'm doing all of this stuff and it's too risky, let's just do nothing, right? Let's just do nothing because you know what? This is too risky. This is too risky. You know what I mean? And, I take a look at all that and I'm just like, well, here it goes. You got to do something. You got to do something. It seems like some of the stuff I do, I almost feel like, it's more for guys or something. You know what I mean? I feel almost like locked in the box. And no matter where I go, I'm locked in the box and I got to escape like I'm some kind of magician. I got to escape the handcuffs. I got to escape the straitjacket. I got to escape Davy Jones' locker, down in the bottom of the ocean. You know what I'm saying? It's always me locked in, because I really don't feel like a person can succeed as much as they could. They can't reach their potential without investments. I just don't think you can. No matter what you do. If you're not in a movie or TV show or something, bro, and you have a bunch of other people like doing things and doing it in a particular way, I just don't know if you're really going to succeed that much, But in most cases, it seems like most people get locked in, to just, I'm this singular entity online. I do things the way I want to do them because you know what? You start working with other people, you start doing that kind of stuff. And that's for a particular type of person. But just think about, the way it used to be, You used to only have movies and TV, bro. We just have movies. I know it's been a long time since that, but even if you look at where we're at now, I mean, we're not even that evolved as far as the stuff we're seeing, guys. It's really not that evolved. Like we're kind of in this age we are now, and you just think about how much it's going to develop. The more stuff gets online, the more resources, the more it's been built up. And it seems like it's pretty developed now, but it's going to change so much. It's always going to take on a new shape, And it just seems like for me, it's like I'm too scared, or like I can't do it. I can't be in a movie. I can't be in a TV show. I'm not going to go to Hollywood. I probably don't fit into Hollywood, or whatever you want to say. I know people think about Hollywood and making a movie, and it's like, well, you could just make a movie. You don't really have to be a part of all that, whatever. I don't know. It's like the way you're thinking of it. Like no one's stopping you. Like I could do things by myself and understand every aspect of making a movie, right? And I could do it all myself because, there's one thing that I have been crazy about is just cinematography, You just like making yourself look a little bit cinematic. You know what I mean? Looking a little bit cinematic on camera.